question scientists have been trying to answer for decades.
It's one of the best solutions we have now.
Fish experts are seeing record runs of adult salmon and steelhead returning to rivers this year, but they're also seeing a much smaller than expected number of young fish migrating to the ocean.
Now, coming up tomorrow night on KREM News at 6 o'clock, we're going to tell you how many of the salmon survived that barge trip down the Snake and the Columbia rivers.
Well, Tom Sherry has started a great project, one that we plan to cover all summer long.
That's right. He's built a raised garden right behind the station back here, and each week he invites gardening experts to help him out, raising vegetables and flowers and so on. Next, Tom doing some planting, and we'll join him live when we come back.
It's coverage you can count on from KREM News at 6.
Well, it's Thursday. Do you know where your Tom is? Well, we know where ours is. And it means that Tom Sherry is out in the garden with another lesson to help us bring a little life back to our yards.
That's right. And tonight, Tom is focusing on planting. He joined us now live from the KREM 2 garden. That's in the backyard of the KREM 2 studio. Tom?
Well, that's exactly right. You know, the snow is all off of Micah Peak. Here it is the middle of May. Those are all signs that it's time to plant your garden. Well, this week in Tom's Garden Club, gardening expert Susan Mulvihill makes sure I do it right. Susan, let's get planting.
Okay, it's time to get things in. It's safe enough right now. We're going to plant an early girl tomato, zinnias, beans, onions, radishes, and carrots.
Okay, tomatoes first?
Tomato first. What I'm going to do is pop it out of the pot, and then just like last year, I'm just going to strip these lower leaves off, and that is going to give the plant, since we're planting it deeper, the ability to grow extra roots along the stem. And the more roots it has, just the better it'll grow.
The only flowers in my garden will be zinnias.
I picked this out especially for Nadine. These are really pretty color, and it's called whirligig.
Susan broadcast spreads the seeds and covers them with about 1/4 inch of soil.
Next thing is carrots.
And the worst thing about the carrots is the thinning process.
I know, so don't put any more seeds in.
We won't be thinning them for a while because the carrots take 14 to 21 days to germinate. Next up for planting is bunching onions.
They're going to be thinned, but actually you're going to use them as you thin them too.
Yeah.
So that's nice. There's not much waste.
Then it's on to radishes, which will be the fastest and easiest to grow. And Susan also has a great tip for planting beans.
You plant this little scar facing downwards. That way the seed is already oriented in the right direction, so it doesn't spend any of its energy trying to orient itself to the right direction.
Good tip. Plant the beans about 1 inch deep and 6 inches apart. And remember to identify your seed row using labeled markers. Susan, it feels good to have the garden almost all planted.
Yeah.
Next week, you're going to come back, show us how to plant potatoes.
Right.
You've got some great tips. And we're also going to talk about the Plant-A-Row program, where gardeners can help feed the hungry. It's all next week on Tom's Garden Club. And I'm looking for gardening tips, so we'd love to hear from you. And that's my email address at tsherry@krem.com, or if you'd like, you can always mail me your gardening tip. And everyone who sends me a gardening tip, and if I use it on the air, I will be happy to pass along to you kind of a gardening kneeling pad, kind of saves your knees. It says Tom's Garden Club right on it, and we've also got a packet of wildflower seeds that we'll pass along to you too, but we have to use the tip on the air. So we're looking forward to getting some great gardening tips from you, because we know there's plenty of expert gardeners and gardening enthusiasts here in the Inland Northwest. So Randy and Nadine, the garden is in, and I'll tell you what kind of weather we can expect this weekend. That's coming up in just a few minutes.
All right. Thanks. We'll check back with Tom then in just about a minute or two.
Great tips. He has your weekend forecast that includes a look at what the weather might be like for the Lilac Festival Torchlight Parade. We'll be right back.
Tom Sherry's Storm Tracker 2 forecast. A forecast you can understand. A forecast you can use. A forecast you can count on. Only on KREM 2 News.
First, here's what's new tonight on KREM 2 News at 11 o'clock. A new book by O.J. Simpson detective Mark Furman blasts Spokane serial killer task force. Tonight, a closer look at Furman's accusations and a response from the sheriff tonight. A scramble over politics and why one man was attacked with an egg. And we'll take you for a ride on the world's biggest scooter. That'll be fun. That's all new for you tonight on KREM 2 News at 11.
That does look like fun. Hey, Tom Sherry's out in the KREM 2 garden once again, getting down and dirty.
That's right. He joined us now live to explain why you have to wear a tie when you garden.
It's kind of like the Green Acres thing out here. I don't know if you can see those right there, you guys, but these are actually radishes that all have already popped up. And Susan and I we planted the garden. There you go, right there. We planted the garden just last Friday. So pretty impressive that I told you they're fast growers, and they certainly are. All right, let's talk about weather, shall we? Let's take a look at our satellite pictures and show you what we've got going on with our Storm Tracker 2 Plus. We have a weak disturbance that's moving down along Oregon, and you can just kind of see the whiter clouds into Oregon and the southern sections of Washington. That's bringing some light sprinkles into the central basin and areas of southeastern Washington, and that's why we have the cloud cover across us as well. 56, that's the current temperature in Spokane. Wind out of the southwest at 9 makes it feel a little bit cooler than that air temperature in Coeur d'Alene's at 56. We only got up to 58 today. I thought we'd get into the low 60s, but that did not happen because of the persistent cloud cover, and we had a very cold morning at 36. Shouldn't be as cold this morning, but tomorrow should be fairly nice in certain areas. We'll look for 69 in Ritzville, 68 in Davenport, and 70s pretty much from Moses Lake on up to the Cascades. Morning drizzle expected in Seattle with a high of 60. Beautiful weather down in Portland at 68. And once again, the Tri-Cities always seems to get a jump on the warm weather as they look for a high of 75, although it is going to be a breezy day in the Tri-Cities tomorrow. 66 up in Sandpoint and a little bit cooler as you head up towards Priest Lake. And Coeur d'Alene will also have a high temperature tomorrow in the mid-60s. We'll look for temperatures in Bonners Ferry to be in the low to mid-60s and then low 60s over in western Montana. Although as you head farther south in the state of Washington, look at Lewiston there at 71. And surprisingly, Colville is 70, always a few degrees warmer than the Spokane area. Here's your evening forecast. Mostly cloudy skies, mild temperatures early. We go from 50s into 40s, and we should bottom out tonight right around 40 degrees. So not as cold as what we saw this morning, although breezy. It'll be breezy tomorrow. Temperatures near normal with a high of 65 expected with partly cloudy skies. And then on your 7-day forecast, we're looking forward to Saturday. Right now, Saturday looks like the best day of the weekend. That wasn't the case yesterday, but that's the way it's shaping up now. It'll be cooler and breezy on Sunday, and then temperatures bounce back to 70 for your Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So Saturday, the best day for you to get out and plant the garden, if in fact you haven't got it in already. And we wish you lots of luck, and just keep your hands dirty.
Yeah, look under the fingernails. That's a sign of a good gardener. They've got to have some dirt under there. Mariners are back on the field this afternoon.
I understand the Mariners are pretty busy on the old fax machine today.
Yeah, it's really kind of funny. A one-page fax. Style note for broadcasters.
Important stuff.
It is very important, especially when you're in the business that we're in. We'll explain what this means coming up. And we will spend some time with the Rogers baseball team, a squad that ended a long, long drought. That's straight ahead. Now repeat after me. Ichiro. It's not Ichiro, it's not Ichiro, it's Ichiro. That, according to a Mariner release fax to all media outlets in this part of the country today. Why? Well, to clear up all the various Ichiro pronunciations out there. Ichiro Suzuki has certainly done his part to help educate the public on the proper way to say his name, especially when you consider he entered today's game with a .366 batting average and a Major League best 67 hits. He also wants to be called by just his first name, but until he becomes another, say, Elvis, Madonna, maybe Cher, we'll just have to wait and see on that one. This afternoon, Suzuki, if I can call him that, 3 for 5. He's now batting .370. He extends his hit streak to 22 games. The Mariners lead the White Sox 5-1 in the 8th inning. Highlights for you at 11. To Texas for the Rangers and Indians, Alex Rodriguez. Remember him, deep to left field, 3-run home run. He's 14th dinger of the year, 8-0 Sox. Next batter, Rafael Palmeiro knocks it out of the yard. Texas goes on to win it. 12-7 is the final. A judge in Florida told Darryl Strawberry he's batting in the bottom of the 9th with 2 outs and 2 strikes against him, but still did not send him to prison. Instead, Strawberry's ordered back to a drug treatment center for the next 2 years. The former 8-time All-Star violated probation 5 times in the last 2 years. Jan Michael Gamble's German holiday, if you want to call it that, is over. He was knocked out of the round of 16 at the German Open today by Thomas Johansson, 3-6, 6-4, and 6-4. A big loss for Washington State football. For the second year in a row, linebacker Curtis Holden is academically ineligible. That puts an end to his coup career. Champ Simmons appears to be his successor. Well, the postseason is here for GSL schools that have spring sporting teams still alive. And as Tom Hudson tells us, that's a pretty rare thing for the Rogers Boys of Summer.
More often than not, the diamond at Rogers High School doesn't get much use this late in the school year. But the Pirates are practicing to play again, thanks to the first district title in school history.
The kids have been playing really well, pitching and defense. hitting, we score enough runs to win, and that's the name of the game. Good pitching always wins.
Rogers proved Wassom's theory with 2 one-run wins in the district tournament. The significance of the 3-2 victory over NC in the final game wasn't lost on the players or the fans.
It means a lot because from the time we were freshmen, we've had our eyes on that goal. And we worked hard, and finally to now achieve it, it just feels really good. It was like a dream.
It was also a huge confidence builder. The Pirates' recent success has them thinking a trip to the Final Four is within their grasp.
I think it gives us more initiative to go on and do better things. So we have talent. We have enough talent to go on and win it all.
Tom Hudson, KREM 2 Sports.
And their next game will be the regionals this Saturday down in Tri-Cities. It will be Rogers going up against Davis, and NC North Central also there. North Central will take on Richland this weekend. We wish you both the best of luck.
Yeah, we sure do. Thanks.
Thank you, Mark.
We, of course, want to remind you that Tom Cherry's out in his garden, or otherwise we would have a weather word from him. No, he's got a tie on. He's digging up stuff out in the garden. I don't know.
How he does it.
Sometimes.
Well, that'll do it.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Join us tonight at 10 for the 10 at 10 news on KSKN Channel 22 and at 11 right here on KREM 2. Good night.
Elaine's